Most gardeners make the same mistake when they see thick, amber-colored drops of sap coming from a plum or cherry tree, and I made it myself for years. I would scrape the sticky gum away, clean the bark, and think I had solved the problem, only to come back a few weeks later and find even more of it. What I did not understand then was that the gum was not really the problem. It was the tree telling me that something had already gone wrong. And late summer is one of the worst times to ignore that warning, because small injuries, dry soil, sudden watering, heat stress, and damaged bark can quietly turn into a much bigger problem before winter arrives. I remember an older gardener showing me a plum tree covered with these little hardened drops, and he told me not to start cutting anything until I understood why the tree was producing them. That advice stayed with me because most people immediately reach for a knife, a spray, or some expensive treatment without fixing what caused the wound in the first place. In this video, I want to show you the simple autumn routine I use to reduce this problem and help plum and cherry trees go into winter in better condition. There is one part of this routine that costs almost nothing, but most gardeners skip it because it looks too simple, and that is where we need to begin. For a long time, I thought the right response was to remove every drop of gum I could see, but I eventually learned that the tree needed something different from me. When a plum or cherry tree is stressed or injured, the sticky material can appear around damaged bark, pruning cuts, cracks, or places where the wood has been irritated. So, if you simply clean the gum and walk away, you may be cleaning the symptom while leaving the reason untouched. I learned to slow down and inspect the tree instead. I look closely at the trunk and the main branches, especially after a hot, dry summer when the tree may have gone through more stress than we realize. I also look for small injuries from tools, grass trimmers, insects, broken twigs, or rough handling around the trunk. Most gardeners do not notice these little wounds until the gum appears, and by then the tree has already spent energy trying to protect itself. That is why late summer and early autumn are so important. I want the tree entering winter with fewer open wounds and steady moisture around its roots, rather than being pushed from drought into heavy watering. One old habit I still use is simply checking the soil before watering and keeping the area under the tree free from competition. It costs nothing and takes only a few minutes, but there is another small autumn mistake that can leave fresh damage exactly where you do not want it. One of the first things I learned about plum and cherry trees is that a wound can stay with a tree much longer than we expect. An older gardener once showed me a plum tree with a small crack in the bark and told me that the crack itself was not the part that worried him. He was watching what could enter through it later. Damaged bark can become a place where disease problems begin, and once that area keeps getting wet and cold, the tree has a harder time recovering. That is why I stopped treating autumn pruning as ordinary garden cleanup. With stone fruit trees, I want to avoid making fresh large cuts when the weather is already becoming cool and damp. The source material points out that summer pruning is generally safer for mature plums and related trees because wounds can dry and begin closing while the tree is still active, whereas autumn wounds may remain open as winter approaches. So, if you have a branch that truly needs removing, do not wait until a wet November day just because the garden looks untidy. Choose a dry period when possible, and keep the cut clean. I learned this the hard way after making what seemed like one harmless autumn cut, and that small mistake taught me something even more important about protecting the trunk before winter arrives. Now, I want to show you the part of the autumn routine that costs very little and can make a real difference over time. First, I look at the soil around the tree, rather than putting anything directly against the trunk. If the ground is very acidic, the source recommends checking the acidity instead of adding lime by guesswork, because too much can create a different problem. Then, in late summer and autumn, I avoid nitrogen-rich feeding, such as fresh manure, urea, strong chicken manure, or heavy nitrogen fertilizers. The tree does not need to be pushed into soft, new growth when winter is coming. If the soil needs support, the old practical approach is to use an appropriate autumn feeding with more attention to phosphorus and potassium rather than forcing green growth. Then I keep moisture steady but I do not pour water against the trunk. Water belongs around the root area beneath the canopy, because a constantly wet trunk base can create more trouble instead of solving it. And there is one autumn job I consider especially important for plum and cherry trees. It looks almost too simple, but it protects the bark from a problem that often shows itself months later, after winter has already done its damage. There are a few mistakes I would avoid completely once autumn arrives because they can bring the gum back even after you have done the other work. The first is feeding a plum or cherry tree with nitrogen late in the season. I used to think more feeding meant more strength, but fresh manure, urea, chicken manure, strong grass liquids, and fertilizers high in nitrogen can push soft new growth when the tree should be preparing for cold weather. The source specifically recommends stopping these nitrogen feeds after early July. The second mistake is pruning in wet weather or making unnecessary autumn cuts. Stone fruit wounds can heal poorly, and an autumn wound may remain open when freezing weather arrives. The third mistake is putting water directly against the trunk. I water around the root zone under the canopy instead, because a constantly wet root collar can create another problem at the base of the tree. And then there is one old habit that many people remember from their grandparents but now often do at the wrong time: late autumn. Protection of the trunk with a proper white coating can reduce winter sun damage, especially on young trees. But there is still one question left. What should you actually do with those old hardened drops of gum that are already sitting on the bark? That small job matters more than most people realize. So, what do I do when I find an old hardened drop of gum already sitting on the bark? I do not simply paint over it and pretend the problem is gone. The old method in my garden is to work on a dry day and carefully clean away the old hardened material so I can see the bark underneath. If the area is damaged or diseased, the important thing is to deal with the damaged tissue rather than hiding it under a thick layer of garden paste. The source also warns against sealing gum with garden varnish before cleaning the area because whatever caused the damage can remain underneath. If I find dead or clearly affected branches, I remove them in dry weather and disinfect the cutting tool between cuts so I am not carrying a problem from one place to another. With some diseases, the source recommends cutting well below the visible damaged area and removing infected material from the garden rather than leaving it in a pile nearby. Then comes the part I consider the real autumn protection. I check the trunk and the lower main branches for winter sun exposure and prepare to whitewash them late in autumn after the leaves have fallen. This simple white coating can help reduce heating of the bark on sunny winter days and lower the risk of new cracks. And when spring comes, the first thing I look for is not fruit. I look at the trunk to see whether those new amber drops have finally become fewer. When I look back at the trees in my own garden, I have learned not to panic when I see a little gum on the bark, but I also do not ignore it anymore. I look at the color. I look at the wound. I check the soil and I think about what the tree went through during the summer. Clear light gum can point to physical stress such as injury, frost, sun damage, water problems, or compacted soil, while dark gum with sawdust or damaged wood can point toward a pest or infection that needs a different response. The main lesson for me is simple. Do not try to hide the symptom before you understand the cause. Keep water away from the trunk, give the roots proper conditions, avoid unnecessary autumn cuts, and do not push the tree with strong nitrogen feeding when the season is ending. If the bark has been exposed to winter sun, late autumn whitewashing of the trunk can also help reduce the risk of sun damage and cracking. None of this requires an expensive collection of products. Most of it comes down to watching the tree, keeping the soil in reasonable condition, and doing a few simple jobs at the right time. That is the old habit I would keep if I had to start my garden again tomorrow. And next spring, when the first warm days arrive, I would not wait for the first drop of gum to appear before checking the bark again, because the best treatment is often the problem you prevented months earlier.